Guys, it's Karen, and today we're talking about glycolic acid, and I think this is a really interesting ingredient because it's something that people can use as an alternative to retinoids, so to tretinoin and retinol. There will be some people that just don't want to use any of the retinols or retinoids or tretinoin of any kind, but still want to use something that may be good for anti-aging. And so I think a lot of people are turning to glycolic acid. Glycolic acid is something that was used in the 1800s, discovered and used in the 1800s. It is an alpha hydroxy acid, so it comes under AHAs. So there's AHAs and BHAs, and this is an AHA and is considered to be better for normal to dry skin, as opposed to the BHA is supposed to be better for oily skin. But what glycolic acid does is it dissolves the bonds in the skin. There's this top layer of dead skin, and it dissolves the bonds in the skin to help remove that outer dead layer of skin, thus revealing a more youthful, brighter complex. AHAs are found in food and drink. It can be found in fruits and high sugar level plants such as sugar beets and sugarcane, and the synthetic glycolic acid is generally made from sugarcane. Something to mention is that it is usually made using formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is part of the process to create glycolic acid, but formaldehyde is a known irritant both to skin, to lungs, to health in general. It's thought to be cancer causing, etc. But I have noticed there are some companies that are specifically advertising as formaldehyde-free glycolic acid, and there is also a really interesting FDA report on this, so I'll link that for you, and it states that the levels of formaldehyde left after the glycolic acid has been created are trace levels and not a threat to human health, because it is only trace levels that are thought to be left behind. So what are the claims of glycolic acid? The claims are that it treats fine lines, texture of the skin, blackheads and acne, uneven skin tone, basically that it will give you a brighter, younger looking skin. There are some risks related to using acids such as glycolic acid, which is that your skin becomes more sensitive to UV light. So it's very important if you're using glycolic acid to have a really good sun protection regime, which hopefully you have anyway, but you just need to be extra cautious. And for some people, they can have a sensitivity to any of the acids, so that's something else to be aware of. You need to not go overboard with it. And also something else to mention is you don't just have, like I have got here, an empty bottle of the glycolic acid 7% toning solution. So that's something that you can use every day, but then there is also glycolic peels. I know No7 do a 10% home glycolic peel that is to be used every couple of weeks. So there's the two different ways that you can use glycolic acid. What's really interesting to me about glycolic acid is there is actually some research out there, but the research is mostly to do with glycolic acid peels, anywhere between 20 and 70%, so really, really strong skin peels, so not something that you could do at home. So this would be a salon-based peel. But for example, there's one study that used a 1% tretinoin versus a 70% glycolic acid peel once a week. So 1% tretinoin, I think it was a half and half face the way they did it, versus 70% glycolic acid in a salon. So you have this peel once a week, and they were both found to be as effective for melasma. So again, there's a lot of studies that are relating to uneven skin tone and melasma and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, things like that, where the skin is uneven. And like I said, the glycolic acid was found to be as effective as a 1% tretinoin, which is huge. Even more interesting than that is that the glycolic acid was tolerated better, even at 70%. There was less tolerance to the tretinoin side effects than the glycolic acid. However, the difference in that obviously is that you could use a tretinoin cream at home versus you would have to go to a salon and pay to have a peel at that high level. There is one small study that shows glycolic acid could be promising for photoaging, but it was showing some moderate benefits. It wasn't a significant improvement in photo damage, aging damage. The summary of evidence just now is that it works for melasma, is that it works for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, that it works to a lesser degree for acne, and that it is showing some benefit for photo aging, so for aging skin. There are actually 2 studies that I found that are going on right now that are recruiting just now in glycolic acid and aging of the skin, but the results won't be out of that for, I think it's another year or so. Out of interest, you can make your own glycolic acid at home by mixing sugar and yogurt if you're interested in doing that. But I'm going to talk about the products that are available. I mentioned the Ordinary 7% glycolic acid toner. I've got my notes here. This is £6.80 and I think this is fantastic. Nothing nasty in it, great ingredients. This always makes my skin feel really, really smooth. And yeah, I really enjoy it. And this is great to use as a toner as opposed to having to put another serum on, because I feel like we're using so many serums on our skin. I'd prefer to have another step that is, you know, soak a cotton pad, wipe it over your face and use it as a toner. So I would recommend that one. This is another product by The Ordinary that can be used more as a peel. It's a 30% AHA plus BHA 2%. So AHA means it does have glycolic acid in it, but it is a mixture of BHA acids. So there isn't a specific percentage of glycolic. But I think this is a lovely product to use, like I said, as a kind of face mask peel. It does give me a bit of a tingle, leaves my skin feeling lovely and soft. So I would recommend that, and it's £6.30. I've listed a couple here that I haven't tried but may try, and one that I did buy and never ended up using, which was the No7 Youthful Glycolic Peel. I have seen great reviews on this. It's £25 from Boots, obviously, and it's got everything you need in it. So it's got a calming moisturiser, it's got a neutraliser, so it is a mask, you know, a peel. It's not something you use every day. And I think it has about 6 little tubes. I literally just gave it to somebody a couple of weeks ago because it has alcohol in it. Denatured alcohol is listed as like the 2nd or 3rd ingredient, and to me, I don't want to use a peel with alcohol because a peel is going to be potentially irritating to your skin. So to dry it out further and potentially irritate it with alcohol just doesn't make any sense to me. So that one, it's up to you. There's great reviews, but it just wouldn't be my choice. A Nip Fab Glycolic Fix Liquid Glow Extreme. This is a 6% glycolic acid. It's £19.95, and this is one that you can use every day in the same way as the Ordinary one. However, that one also has alcohol listed quite high on the list, so it's another one that I wouldn't necessarily use. But if you don't want to buy from the Ordinary, that's another very similar product that you can use as a toner. And the final one I've listed is by Bravura. Bravura, I think that's how you say it. It's £9.59 and it's a 10% peel solution that can be used 3 to 4 times a week. This has got great ingredients, although it does list lavender water as an ingredient, and I don't know how strong the lavender water would be. Lavender essential oil can be irritating to some people's skin, and so I would just say be wary if you have sensitive skin. But I've used Bravura products many years ago, actually. I think it was just when I was starting YouTube, and I remember speaking to them. I think they actually sent me one, and she was saying that the rules were about to change at that time with acids. I can't remember exactly what it was relating to, but I did enjoy the products that I had from them, so I would be tempted to try that. So those are the products I would recommend, and I suppose my summary is that I enjoy it as a product and there is promising evidence, and those are, I guess, my kind of 2, well, maybe I've got 3 requirements. I want my skincare to not be crazy expensive because it's so consumable, you know, you're using it so quickly. So I want it to be a reasonable price. I want it to feel nice. As part of my routine, I want it to feel lovely or leave my skin feeling lovely. And I want the ingredients to be not harsh, so not alcohol, not fragrance, but to have some promise. And so that is the case with glycolic acid. There is some exciting research, makes my skin feel lovely, and it's a reasonable price. So I'm going to keep it as part of my regime, but I'm not sure if I will. I've got a lactic acid that I've just ordered from the Ordinary, and I really do enjoy the lactic acid, but I might actually order the Bravura glycolic acid 10% and see how I feel using that and see how that works on dry skin. I've got a funny feeling that the lactic acid is better for getting rid of like the flakies, you know, whereas I like using this glycolic acid toner more as a kind of daily thing rather than the occasional use of the lactic acid serum. That's everything. I hope that you enjoyed that. Let me know of any glycolic acids that I've not mentioned that you might use and enjoy, and I will speak to you again soon.